Welcome to the Ripple Effect by the Alliance. We are committed to raising the frequency of our planet. We'll discuss hot topics, share practical tools and sacred frequencies to reveal the magic in your life. Come laugh, cry, and have fun with us.
Welcome, everybody who's listening. We're so excited to have you here. This has been something we've been so excited about, and we're going to chat a little bit about how this came to fruition and how we came together. We have a Canadian, we have beautiful Stacia, who's down in the United States, and beautiful Hannah, who is down in Mexico. And the three of us came together in the most beautiful way. So we're going to chat about that and just why we're doing this podcast and what we're bringing with it, and how we hope to help everybody and raise the vibrations. So welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Yeah. So what should we chat about first? Do we want to chat about like how we even came together in the first place? Who we are?
Yeah, how we met. Let's talk about how we met, and then we talk about who we are and stuff. But I think how we came to know each other, I think that's a really interesting bit.
Yes. I think I met Hannah first before Stacia. I'm almost certain. Hannah and I ended up in a mastermind together with a coach back in, wow, that would have been like February, March of 2020. I think around
way before, no?
Or it was like, I feel like it was like February. I remember really? I was in like two masterminds at the same time, and one was ending and the other one was starting.
I felt it was like the end of the previous year, but I guess it was. No,
yeah,
I guess
it was 2020. It was right before like all the pandemic craziness. It feels like it happened before that, but it I don't know. It's all like
almost
a beautiful blur.
Yeah.
And I immediately felt connected to Hannah, and I jumped in. So Hannah, I'm sure she'll talk about this, obviously, but she does like beautiful sound healing, meditation work. And I was somebody who was like, I can't meditate. I like meditating sounds too hard. I'll never be able to do that. But there was just something about Hannah and being with her in the mastermind where it's like, I feel like if anybody can help me do this, it's her. So I jumped into Hannah's world doing her meditation, and I haven't quit. I'm still in her world. She's stuck with me. And that's how we met. And then Stacia, again, one of the ladies who was in that same mastermind with us, Stacia was in her world. So we got introduced through this woman, and Stacia jumped into some of my containers and some of Hannah's. We've been in meditations together. So again, Stacia's somebody who, anytime she joined one of my containers, I was so excited because I'm like, oh my God. She was like a ray of light. I knew she was going to be this like positive force within the group and would, help empower and encourage others. And I was always like so excited when she joined anything with me. It's so true, Stacia. And I just love being in both your worlds, and I feel so blessed. And honestly, both these women have changed my life, and I know they're going to change yours through this podcast. So you guys get to taste what I got to enjoy and keep to myself for a couple of years now. Now we're bringing it all out to all of you beautiful ladies. So that's how I got to know you two. So
yeah, I just want to add something, because Sarah, you're so modest. Because you have changed my world. And I'm telling you, I am so grateful for your contribution in my life, and to both of you for Wow, you're my ride or die, right? You're my VIPs. Stacia with her um, glow and her willingness to support just pretty much everyone, right? If she believes in something, she will show up and will support you to no end. And I felt the same way every time Stacia showed up. And I guess that's why there was at one point, there was a little tiff over Stacia in our group, in our mastermind, that created a whole chain. It just set off a whole chain of events that changed our presence in that mastermind. It finally got kind of diluted, but people were fighting over Stacia.
She's mine. She's mine.
That Stacia, I just decided you were an adult and you would decide where to go and where not to go and let you be. And I was like, I am not going to participate in this insanity. And it was just crazy. But now, after knowing you for so long, I can see why people would go crazy over you. It's like, and be like, I want her on my team. No, I want her on my team.
But now, having known Stacia too, though, it's also like she has the capacity to go everywhere, so nobody needed to fight over her, right?
Right.
So
Exactly. That's absolutely true. So yay. I'm so grateful that we're all here. And for me, it's been a wonderful journey of love and of following my intuition. And the way that you all came into my life was very interesting, because when I was in that mastermind, I was not working on teaching meditation at all.
yeah.
Remember, I was working on my warrior program. And in one of my meditations, I got, teach them what you know. Teach them what you're doing for yourself. Share what you do for you. And I was like, what? And sometimes when I get messages from spirit of what I'm supposed to be doing, I tend to question a lot because it just seems so crazy, right? It's like, what? I'm supposed to do what? It's like, I've been working for a whole year on this program that I put my entire soul into, and you're telling me to cast it aside and now teach meditation? And I was like, I am not a meditation teacher. Like this is not what I do. And I was like getting the thing of like, share what you know, share what you know. And not soon after, the whole craziness began.
Mm-hmm.
And I was about a month ahead of schedule in everything.
Yeah.
And that's how, it all started to happen.
Yeah.
So how was it for you, Stacia?
Yeah, it's incredible to be here with both of you ladies. And thank you so much for all of your kind words. But the craziness that started in 2020 is really what catapulted me on this journey with both of you. And, all of a sudden everything was stopped, and I had this opportunity to discover that there were all these amazing women online, and they were teaching things that I didn't even know existed. And that's why I just jumped in and I just wanted to learn everything. It's like I had worked on my mindset, but then I was really working on my mindset. And, I met Hannah because I don't know if I met you both about the same time. It seems like it might've been the same summit, but I heard her play. She did a meditation, a sound bath. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this. And then I won her course. And and then it seems like I might have won something with Sarah. So it was just like I just started like just following the trail and just letting what I now know was my intuition guide me. And it has just been so incredible. You know, Sarah taught me so much about structure. I had been really heavy in my masculine energy, you know, being a widowed mother. I wanted to just be able to do it all. And I was not taking care of myself. But then I fell into the too heavy on the feminine, because I'm like, it's all bubble baths and, and flow. And it's like, that doesn't work. So she, you know, I've just learned so much from both of you, and, you know, the fact that you guys were together in this mastermind, it's like everything that I needed just kind of fell into my lap. So it's been really an incredible journey with, you know, just being in your presence and learning, allowing myself to become vulnerable. Hannah, that's such a big thing for me, because we've talked about this. I was always that person that didn't want to share. I would learn everything there was to learn about somebody else just to avoid having to talk about myself. And so I've grown with you ladies, and now it's like I have absolutely no second guessing myself to just say whatever I need to say, and you're always there with open arms and open ears and a loving heart, and I appreciate it so much. So but that's a little bit about where we met each other.
Yes.
But,
And I just have to say, isn't it funny that you said bubble baths, and both Sarah and I do not like baths.
I don't either. That's
Really?
why we're the podcast. This is exactly why.
This is why the I Hate Bubble Baths podcast.
People always tell me, take a bath. And I'm like, I hate baths. Like even when I was remodeling my house in Philly, I wanted to take the bathtub out, and they're like, you're going to cut off the market and blah, blah, blah. You have to have a bathtub. And I'm like, I want to have an incredible rain shower with massage and stuff. I don't want a bathtub. And then all my realtor friends talked me into putting a bathtub because it wasn't going to be my final house.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
that I did, but I'm like, I can live without a bathtub. Okay. So
I know. I don't get the big appeal with baths. I can bring my wine in the shower. I'm good. It looks nice. It looks relaxing, but the thought of it for me just, I can't deal with the bath.
That is so funny.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So
I'm curious how many bath and shower people we have. Okay, so that's a little bit. Now, just a heads up, we're gonna do our first 3 episodes after this. We're gonna give you a more in-depth look into each one of us. So each one of those episodes is going to focus on, we're going to highlight, the spotlight's going to be on Hannah, then Stacia, then myself, or we're not sure the order yet, but we're each going to have a moment to showcase who we are, to give you guys a better understanding of who we are, what we do. And then we're going to have some fun, and we're going to have some fun interview questions for each other. And you'll get a better understanding of like, who the heck are these 3 women that came together to host a podcast. But for this introduction to the podcast, we really want to give you an idea of like who we are, the energy, why we came together, and what this is all about. Like, why should you listen? Why do you want to be here? What is it that we like? What is our mission and purpose for bringing this to you? And I think it's a powerful one. And as you heard, we've been in each other's world for a couple of years now. And while we came together, maybe joining a program or following something or winning a prize, we really built up a friendship and a connection. And we have grown so much together. We have had many highs and lows, and we went on that journey with each other. And Stacia mentioned her ability to become vulnerable. I also was able to become more vulnerable and more expressive and self-expressive. And, we'll talk about things maybe Hannah had me do to bring that out of me, and that we can help you do too, right? This is all about help. At the end of each podcast, we want you to leave feeling happier. We want you to feel more enlightened. Maybe you have something new, a new tool or practice that you can go do in your life. Maybe it's something you can share with your family. And we want to have a ripple effect, right? Like this podcast is called The Ripple Effect because we want the vibration that we're running at now, we want to be able to share that with you. And we are going to talk about things that maybe other people don't talk about in a way that other people maybe are afraid to talk about them. We're going to talk about hot topics. We're going to talk about fun things. We're going to like bubble bath, pro or con, right? We're going to talk about some serious stuff. We're going to talk about things that can really change your life. And we are each, the good thing about this is we each have our own specialty. The things that I love and I'm really good at might not be what Hannah and Stacia love to dive into, but it's learning from one another, right? And the things that I've learned from Stacia and Hannah continue to blow my mind every day. And they make me a more well-rounded human being. And I'm just so thrilled and excited that we get to bring that to all of you. Maybe Hannah, I know you'll say it so eloquently. Would you like to share like our mission and purpose for this? Because I think it's a powerful one. I've kind of give like a synopsis, but Hannah, you guys are going to learn how beautiful and well-spoken Hannah is. and you'll hear me be like, try to articulate everything for you guys in layman's terms. And then we'll have Hannah like, it's like she's singing a song.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Well, you've been amazing, and I really appreciate you know what I believe that our mission is. Well, first of all, I have to give a little bit of background of how
thank you
this actually happened and how we discovered our mission after we decided we were going to do this, because we were like, we have to do this. So we've been,
and how it happened, because before you say that, I just want to say this is how things happen in our world, and the things that you're going to learn on this podcast will allow you to have like that same type of like movement in your life, so you're not stagnant. Like, just we're going to help you make things happen.
Yes. And especially if you're feeling stuck in your life, or if you're feeling like you need a change, or you would like to create something different than what you have in your life, I think that the way we're showing up and with our mission is simply to allow you, the viewer, to know that so much more is possible for you, and to be so optimistic about the infinite possibilities that you may have, and to maybe just give you that little push of, we're here for you, you can do this, so that you can just like jump, right?
Yes.
And jump into the abyss and know that God has your back, and you will be caught. And the bigger the jump, the bigger the reward. And so I've been, like I said, I was like 2 years ago in my meditation, I was like, you have to teach other people what you know. And I was like, okay, well, never taught meditation. And all I kept thinking is, well, there's Deepak and Oprah doing their meditation. Like, who's gonna want to listen to me? And so in my way of following spirit, because I learned a long time ago that whenever I didn't listen, I would come to regret it. And so if I tried to exert my will in my life, the way I thought, or the way my mind thought it should be, when my intuition, which was my second brain, was telling me to do something else, it's like when you're going down in traffic and something tells you to make a right turn, and you're like, no, I'm gonna go this way. And then you get stuck in traffic. And if you'd listened, you would have gotten out of traffic, because there's a bigger, higher self that can see more stuff than you can, that will always guide you into the open freeway, right? And so, so I was told, okay, show them what you know. And at the same time, this whole thing that just happened was starting, but this was in January. And I saw a piece of news, and then I started putting two and two together. And I'm a person that if something doesn't seem right, or if something seems right, and I feel called to it, I will start doing research and learning more about it. And I started finding out a lot of stuff that had me very, very concerned. And so I just said, I am going to surrender to this calling. And what's the worst that can happen? Nobody shows up, and I'll just retake my warrior program again. And I'll start off with that again. Nothing will be lost. And so we started teaching that evolved. So every time I taught the meditation program, these two ladies and a couple of others kept signing up. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, right? So as we kept doing the meditations, we kept growing and things started to happen. And then I got a download to do this thing to work with the energy of the moon. And I created this program called Moon Harvest. And so they joined Moon Harvest, and we got to see each other 5 days a month at least. And that was aside from any program that I'd be running. So I knew I'd have these ladies for 5 days during the month at least, if not more, because then there was a change of season and the equinox and the solstice, and we had ceremonies, and then the portals, and then this. And then, so we kept coming together. And this Moon Harvest program was really crazy because I also did it on a calling or something that told me to do it. Even the logo, everything, that the graphics, everything was just like, it was coming to me. And it was working with a lunar cycle from new moon to a full moon. Now, if you all know astrology and lunar cycles and stuff, you will know that a full lunar cycle takes 6 months. So the new moon in a sign to get to the full moon in that same sign will take 6 months. So I said, well, if you're joining this program, you have to join for 6 months because you won't see results until 6 months. And so around the 4th month, I was like, I know I've tried this with other people and it really works, but I started doubting myself because nothing was happening. But we were all committed and we all kept showing up because we had said we're going to show up for 6 months and we know nothing's going to happen until the 6 months happen. Around the 5th month or the end of the 4th month, things started just popping like popcorn, I would say, right? And then, you know, all these people started having all these incredible things happening. And I was like, oh my God, for me, it was like, oh my God, it worked. Thank you, God. Because I was like, I got worried at some point. I was like, oh my God, am I how do you call it, a snake oil salesperson, right? Am I just selling these women on snake oil and making promises that I cannot keep? And so I had a couple of sleepless nights, I'm not gonna lie. But then through all of that, we've evolved, right? We've been together for 2 years now. So in the last cycle, I got a download and I said, you know, I gave them a homework and I said, next time we meet in 10 days or in 2 weeks, whatever, we are going to work on something together.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea what it was. I just knew that it was time to do a project together. And I let it go. And then how it happened, I cannot even remember, but it was about 5 days before we started talking. I think we were on the chat or something. And we said, and Sarah said, right? You said, let's do something together. And I'm like, well, I would love to do something together. And then Stacia, I do something with you guys. And it's like, okay. And then the day came of the project. And the day before I was like, tomorrow we're supposed to work on something together and we're already doing it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that-
And didn't you had a dream too?
You had a dream. Yeah.
Yes, you had a dream. Cause I was like, I'm like, I have an idea. Cause we weren't sure exactly what we're going to do. And I was like, I have an idea. And you're like, I had a dream. I dreamt about it. And it was like, like you dreamt it into reality. It's
It's
this
true.
is how these
Yeah.
things happen.
I couldn't even remember that, right? It just happened so
Mhm.
organically all of a sudden. It's
Yeah, it was
true.
like-
I had that we were doing this, and in my dream we had all these conversations, and I was like, oh my gosh, isn't it amazing that we met in such a way when the whole world. So see what my take on this whole past 2.5 years. For years I had heard people saying, oh my God, I just want the world to stop.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with that? How many people just wanted the world
Pretty
to
sure
stop?
I said it even.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It was
I
like,
think
I
everybody was
want
like,
stop the world. I want to get off. Just stop
Yeah.
it. Just stop the world for a second. Just let me catch my breath. Okay. And the thing is, I know for a fact how I think God has a sense of humor. A little bit, if you ask me. Because when I got divorced, one of the things I asked for is like, if this is the man for me, please let him show up the way, like the man I married. But if he isn't, just take him away from me. But I didn't know the drama that would ensue in the taking away, because I didn't say take him away with ease and joy and glory. Just take him away.
the fine print.
And he was taken away in the easiest, most practical way for the universe to get it done. Was it the least painful and the most pleasurable? Absolutely not. And by the way, if you are listening and you have kids, you might want to maybe not, because I
Oh yeah, we should more. We have potty mouths.
so
And some of the
I'm the
topics
only
might
one
be-
that,
Yeah,
that watches her
Stacia's
language.
so yeah.
the one with filter is Stacia. I have no filter. Sarah has a little bit of a filter, but yeah, she's close to me. So anyway,
Put on the earplugs or the earphones.
so I don't even know what I was saying. I got diverted the whole
Well, how the
sweat.
universe,
I didn't even notice you snored.
everyone wanted
so
to
that's
stop,
how-
and
Well, I stopped. I said,
Oh,
"Freaking
okay. I was gonna say I don't even hear it.
absent,"
So
which is what I normally say. So yeah, so when we wanted the world to stop, we didn't say, please stop the world and make it all bubble baths and rainbows and unicorns. We just said, please stop the world. I need to catch my breath. And so the world stopped. And then people were like, oh my God, it stopped. It's like, you've been asking for it for years. It now happened. And now you're complaining that it happened.
yeah.
It's like, let's take advantage of, you got your wish.
Mhm.
We wanted the world to stop, and boy, did it stop. Right? Now, some of us were able to catch our breaths, and some of us were taken down with it. Right? And I just believe in my heart of hearts that all of the work that I had been doing for the past 30 years allowed me to create a space for us to not get taken down along with a bunch more people. Right?
Mhm.
And the fact that you chose to be in that space was amazing, because it just created a safe haven for us to be in the world and then retreat to this space. and then say, okay, this is happening. How do we deal with it? How do we manage it? Right? And we were able to share with each other and have each other's backs and support. And we literally were in a bubble all this time. And then the growth that started happening. And then it was interesting because some people just started like falling off. And I could see them struggling.
Yes.
But they were in between the two worlds, right? One foot on this world and one foot on the other. And they were doing the splits. And it got to the point where they had to decide, do I go into this world, which is easy and fun? And even though there's stuff happening, we're kind of just navigating with ease, or do I stay in my own hell that I've created? And they could not receive all the goodness.
Right.
And they went back to their hells. And I could see me going, come,
Yeah.
jump, I'll catch you, jump.
Right.
Right.
Well,
And
you know, I like that you said that, because it's easier for people to go to what they know. And doing this journey with you ladies, it really got me to the point where I can step into the unknown without feeling like I need to retreat back to the known, to what's going to produce the hormones to keep me addicted to that crappy, what's going on in that life. Or it's like, wait a minute, I can have some things go wrong, but I can also have all this magic. And that's the difference is, so many people don't know how to do that, but we're discovering that it's actually quite easy to do that when you allow it to happen. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And the fortunate thing, I think, was that I knew so much about the physiology of the body. Talk about the addiction, and that's something that I explained to you guys. And once you know these things, so see what I do, I call it the Hotel California, right?
Yes.
It's like check in anytime you want, but you can never leave. Once you're in, once you know, once you've seen, you can't unhear it, unsee it, unknow it. It's like once you know it, you just know it. And the transformation is instantaneous. And that's what I love about this work, that you don't have to struggle and you don't have to relive all the pain in order to get rid of it. Because so many teachers these days want you to go into the darkness and go into the shadow and do the shadow work and do the crying and the suffering. And in my case, I'm like, I've already done that. I don't want to do that again.
No.
Can I please just move on and get to the good part?
Yeah.
Right? Isn't there a song, Can We Skip to the Good Part, or something like that?
Yeah, there is.
I don't know.
We're skipping to the good part.
Just skip to the good part.
It's true.
Instead of rehashing and reliving the pain and the sorrow and the, oh, I have to feel the feelings all over again. I'm like, I felt it the first time and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So why am I doing it all over again? And God knows I did it. I did all that work.
Yeah.
Right? I did the recapitulation with the Toltec way, because from the four agreements, there's one of the students from Don Miguel Ruiz learned, she was an apprentice and she learned the Toltec way. So she wrote this book, and it was all about recapitulating from the first memory you have of your life. I have books. I still have them in storage. I kept them just as a reminder of never to do that again. Of going to my first memory and reliving every single thing, and then letting go of the things and the traumas and reliving all the traumas. And, I've had, sexual abuse happen, and I've had, emotional and mental abuse in my life. I've gone through all that stuff, and I'm like, really? I'm going to go through it all over again? Like, I went through it. I don't like it. I don't ever want to go back there. I don't want to, if I have to go back there because life throws it at me, I think I know enough now on how to get out of it. But why would I want to go relive it?
And the thing with that too is, and any of us who, and I suspect many people have experienced similar situations where it's something very traumatic or something you don't want to relive, go back to heal, to relive that, to heal it. The thing is, we're already reliving it by hanging on to it, right? Like, I've had things happen. I don't know how many times I replayed that moment in my mind, and how could I have got out of that situation, and why did that happen to me? So for us to have to go back and relive it and be in that moment is scary for people, and it kind of prevents you from wanting to even go back and heal it, right? So that's what I love, like the way you do it, Hannah, is so, like, the other thing is, it's so like, the way I've moved through things that I had hung on to for so long, that defined me, that were affecting the way that I was showing up in the world, and how quickly I was able to move through those without having to go back and relive them and feel like a piece of, you know what, is just mind blowing to me. Like, and so quickly, and so many things. And the more I did those things with you, the more my confidence built in that, and the faster and quicker I was able to move through the next thing and the next thing. And like, I remember one night recently where I was like celebrating, I'm like, oh my God, I just shifted through this, thank God, blah, blah, blah. And then in the same conversation, it was like, this other thing happened that hit me. I'm like, no, I'm like, but I was so high. And it's like, no, because now I can handle healing those things quicker. So my mind and body are just like, here, you're good. You can handle this now. And by the end of that call, like the next morning, I woke up and I'm like, yeah, I'm totally shifted and calibrated into a totally different version of me, where before I would have had, and I did it too. I did the healing sessions and all that. And, you know, everybody has their own thing. But for me, I agree with, there's no reason to like feel like you have to relive those moments, because we know we've all relived them in our mind. Why put ourselves through that when, like, the way that you do it, Hannah, is so beautiful and much faster and much easier.
Way, life has a funny way of bringing it up, right?
Right.
It's gonna,
It's when you're ready, it'll bubble up.
oh yeah.
And then now it's become, for us, it's become a choice. Oh, this showed up. And now we can see so clearly, oh, it's showing up because there's something in there that I need to let go of. Whereas before it's like, oh no, I'm back in this cycle again. And it used to be like, oh no, this is happening all over again.
Yeah.
And frustration of, I've worked so hard at this. Why is this showing up again?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. We go through cycles of same shit, different face. Right? Same job, different boss.
Relationship,
different boyfriend. Right? And why? Because we're the common denominator. Sorry.
Yes.
It's like, we're the ones bringing ourselves to the party. And so we might have cleared it in one situation, but then life brings it up and it's like, okay, now you're ready to clear this if you want to. And we always have that option, right? Because of free will. So we can just let it go until it comes back over again in the cycle. Or we can say, oh my God, this is the same thing I've been doing here and here and here, right? And let me just finally, once and for all, let it go. And then what I found has been so amazing is that once we're letting those things go, new challenges obviously are going to show up in life, because that's what it seems to be, right? But new ways of seeing things have shown up. And I feel like, And for me, watching you guys is because we're a mirror of each other, right? But seeing you guys bloom and just flourish, and it's like, oh my God, like I see you, Sarah, doing things now and saying things and showing up in a way that 2 years ago you wouldn't have dreamt it would happen.
No.
And Stacia is so funny with Stacia for me, because Stacia has always been this mystic person Stacia built herself a construct of, I am a biologist, scientist person, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a scientist,
Okay.
right? And meanwhile, all of her mystical powers are there brewing and just waiting and waiting and waiting. And meanwhile, Stacey's like, snooze, okay, press the snooze button. Press the snooze button on that, because I am a scientist and I am going to talk about viruses and I have these ideas and blah, 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 blah. And it was almost like your true self kind of bubbled up from under you.
Right. And I tried to keep it separate. It's like, this is this Stacia and this is this Stacia. We have to stay on our sides, but that doesn't work.
No.
But then all
Doesn't
of a
work.
sudden, bubbling up, and it's like, oh, wait a second, this is fun. And then I could see you really starting to enjoy that side of yourself. And it's okay, this is truly me as well. And it's okay, because we're raised, especially in Western culture, it's this or that. You're either this or you're that. And you're either this political party or you're this political party, or you're this person or you're that person, or you believe in this or you believe in that. And there's no and, right? And for me, it's all about the and this and that. It's like when you go to a restaurant, it's like, why do you only have to have one dessert? Or why it's like, yeah, like why, like I want lots of appetizers and dessert. Can I skip the entree? Right? And can I actually have dessert first? And then whatever is left in my stomach for room, then I'll decide what else I'll have. Like for me, that's the fun part, dessert. But then people are so used to waiting for the good part. And dessert is the price, right? For sitting through a dinner party with boring people. It's like, but at least you know at the end you're gonna have dessert. For me, it's like, if I'm with boring people, dessert, check. Now at least I've had my dessert. I don't have to sit with the boring people, right? And it's just, I think that what we're creating here is the freedom to be you, the freedom to have this and that, and not have to be limited in your choices, and be able to live your life on your terms, the way you want to, the way that makes you happy, and the way that if you put yourself, and I keep saying this, at the end of your life, on your deathbed, and you're looking back at your life, you can say, good job. I'm so proud of you. You did well. Instead of, oh my God, I shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Right.
Right? So 0 regrets. So I think if anything, besides raising the vibrational frequency of whomever shows up in our world, I think that we're here to help you give yourself permission to live life on your terms, and know that, okay, and it's the only way that you are going to get to the end of your life and be able to say, man, I did it, good job.
Yeah.
You know, how many times have we dreamt of doing something? I remember, you might humor me with this story really quickly. When I first got married, my husband was always talking about when he retired, he wanted to live in a sailboat. And one day I was tired of hearing him talk about this, living on the sailboat. And I was like, okay, have you ever lived on a sailboat? He goes, no. I was like, okay, well, how do you know you like it? And I kind of shook him, right? And he was like, well, I don't know. I said, you're just imagining that you like it, right? He goes, yeah. I go, okay, well, you're in your 30s. And you mean to tell me you're going to wait 20 or 25 years to find this out? And you're going to spend 20 or 25 years dreaming about what it could be? And he looked at me and he goes, well, what do you propose I do? I go, well, let's do it now. And he was like, what? I go, yeah, let's buy a sailboat now. Let's find out. Because if you love it, then we'll have something to look forward to. But if you hate it, you won't waste your entire life on some stupidity.
Yeah.
Right? So we bought a sailboat. I loved it. He hated it. He ended up moving into his parents' apartment across the street from the marina. And I stayed we'd meet for breakfast stuff. I would stay all these nights on the boat by myself because I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning in Miami Beach, and see the fly fish coming out to feed
Wow.
manatees, and the golden hue of the water, and these fly fish would take on the golden hue of the water and the sun coming out, and it was literally liquid gold. And I would be like, my entire body was electrified just watching that every morning. And I felt so blessed to be able to be in the presence of so much magic, right? A year and a half later, sold the boat, done. But he was always grateful because he was like, now I know I would have wasted my entire life. And how many times have we all done that? Right? Wanting to do something and not having the guts to go do it, or thinking that how could we possibly do it, or that we don't have the money or the resources. Here, we're going to show you that that is secondary.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, well, if you don't have the money, how can you do stuff? Trust me when I tell you that you can, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We've all done it. I've done it. And yeah, I'm like so excited. I'm like thinking of everything we're going to be sharing with everybody and all the topics. And I'm so excited. And didn't I say, like, when Hannah talks, it's like she's singing like the story about the fly fish. I'm like, I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm in awe, and I've heard this story. I love that.
Oh.
Yeah. That's truly it. This is so, everything is about living life on your terms, and that anything is possible and so possible. And if the three of us came together and have had, the transformation and the changes that we have, it just shows you that what we're doing is so powerful, and that any of you can make it happen for yourselves too. So stay with us. We're gonna take you on a journey.
Come jump into our bubble.
Yes. So many things, so many good, juicy topics too.
Yes. I have a quote I want to share with you guys, because, I love this book, The Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. Dr. Naram passed away in 2020. I wish I would have met him. But one of the things that he would say is, the greater the challenge, the greater the possibilities, the opportunities for you to grow. And that is so true, and I just wanted to share that, because that is exactly what we've done, is we have been able to take life and put it on our terms, instead of life on life's terms. You know, we go with that flow, and that ebb and flow has become so much easier since we've started doing this work with each other. And I'm so excited to share that with the world. So here we are.
Yes. Oh my God, I love that quote. That hit home for me. It's
Yeah.
so true, right?
Yeah.
And we'll be sharing more, like I said, about each of our journeys, because this it's not like it happened overnight or didn't necessarily come easy off the bat, but the more we opened ourselves up to these things, and everything we'll be sharing that is so easy for you guys to introduce into your own lives, that's when that happened, right? And it's like, I look back on all my struggles and I'm like, thank you, because like every decision I made along the way led me to here where I am now. So
Definitely.
And just remember that, well, at least for me, I think maybe for Stacia and Sarah too, but sometimes what you think is your greatest tragedy
Hmm.
might actually be your greatest gift.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You
I
know?
can, yeah, I think back to a moment where I thought it was my lowest moment, and really it was that, it just like that quote said, it was the moment where my life changed forever. Like it was all up from there. So yeah.
Right? Because you took a chance, because
Yes.
you risked it. And because sometimes we risk it because we have nothing. It's like, well, I have to
Oh,
lose
there's
now.
nothing left. But like it goes back to is sometimes it's easy to stay like that comfort zone. It's like even though you might be miserable, it's like, well, it feels safer in your misery. And we got to stretch ourselves a little bit, but it is taking that chance and taking that jump, right? um it takes courage. It's a big thing, but I think anyone who's here listening to this, um if you came here, it's for a reason. And this might be I know for me, I had that moment of, this is my moment. This is my sign to be like, I got to make this decision for myself. And when I made that decision and took that leap, it wasn't for anybody else. Like it was completely me looking at myself and saying, I'm saying yes to myself and what's possible. And I knew it was going to be a journey. I knew it was going to be a lot of work. I might get emotional. You guys will learn I'm an emotional person. I knew it was going to be a big thing, but it was just that moment of like, I'm worthy of this, and I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but there was part of me that just knew like this, I want something more and I'm craving it, and I'm going to see what happens. So if you're here and you're listening, I truly believe you've landed with us for a reason. We all landed together for a reason. And I think you're here for a purpose, and I'm excited to see where this takes you. And I hope you can look back on this moment and be like, I'm so glad like that I landed upon this podcast with these three ladies who seem like, how did they ever get together, and just take everything in, and take and try things and learn, and take and leave what you want, and just come have fun with us. And like the intro says, like, come laugh, cry, and have fun with us, because there's going to be moments where we're having fun. There's going to be times where we're sharing our heart and being completely open with you and vulnerable, but that's to help you guys do the same and to be able to grow. And then along the way, we're going to have a lot of fun too. Yeah. And then get ready for some fun, because we're going to have hot topics. We're going to have really important conversations. And yeah, I'm just really excited.
Yes. Yay. So
Yay.
we did it.
Yay.
Yay.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to The Ripple Effect by The Alliance with Hannah Martinez,
Stacia Stove.
and Sarah Jane Lita. We hope you're now vibing high and ready to create your own ripple.
Drop a comment or email to let us know the ripple effect that you are creating.
Music by our very own Hannah Martinez, and music production by Onel Moulette.
Follow us on Instagram at The Ripple Effect Pod for more high vibration content. Please rate and review us wherever you listen.
Until next time.